Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to show you how to create this simple weather application using HTML, CSS and an API named Open Weather Map API. So let's start. As you can see, the website looks like this by default. So it is telling us to enter the city or state. So at first I will enter a city named Kolkata and I will click on this search button. As you can see, the weather appears like this. It is showing us the description, that is broken clouds, then the name of the city, then the temperature it feels like, and the humidity and wind speed. So I am searching another city or state. I can search either city or state. So if I search Italy and then I click on search, it appears like this. And then if I search suppose Iceland, okay, and click on search, and it is showing the temperatures and so on. You can search any city or state here using the API Open Weather Map API. So let's start making this website. And suppose if the name is somewhat wrong, if I search something wrong and click on the search button, it is showing us 404 errors, that is city or state does not exist. So yeah, this is the website I am going to make today. So at first I will go to the D drive where I already have a folder named weather. Here I will open it with code. So right click and click on open with code. And as you can see, the VS Code has opened. Here I will create two files. One is index.html and another one is style.css. And in index.html I will write the basic code snippet, which is this doc type HTML, and I am clicking on save. After that I will create a div and the class name will be wrapper. Then inside this division I will also create another division whose class name will be content. Inside the content I will create my search bar, which you can see here, this search bar. If I refresh it, the search bar you are seeing here, this I will create, and the class name of this search bar will be search bar. Okay, and inside this division there will be an input field whose ID will be input and the type will be text, and placeholder will be enter the city or state. And then inside the search bar, as you can see, beside the input field there is also a button. So there will be a button with ID, search, and class far solid far magnifying glass. So you are wondering what this class is. This class is from Font Awesome Icon. As you can see, I am going to the website of Font Awesome Icon. This is the Font Awesome Icon website. You can just Google it and come to the icons by clicking on this icons option, and here you can type magnifying glass and you will get several options of magnifying glass icon. So I have chosen one and typed one. After that I will give the CDN link for the Font Awesome Icon. Okay, if I don't enter the CDN link, then the Font Awesome Icon will not appear on the output screen. Okay, now I am saving it and let's see the output. To see the output screen I have to open the live server of this VS Code. Okay, so right click and then click on open with live server. So as you can see in the output screen, enter the city or state in the input field is written, and beside that the search icon is shown. I can just put these two things side by side and the code snippet on the left side and the output screen on the right. We will create a div with class name weather body. I will create another div inside the weather body, which is upper class. Class name will be upper, and inside this below this upper there will be another division whose class name will be lower. Okay, let me show you once for what I am doing this. Okay, so this haze and temperature will fall inside the upper class. Okay, and this humidity and wind speed will fall inside the lower class. In between the upper and the lower, there will be an h2 tag whose id will be city, and inside that I will give the name Kolkata, for example, by default for now. And after that, let me save it, and as you can see, Kolkata is visible in the output screen. After that, inside the upper class div, I will create another div with the class name type, and inside that I will give the division for the icon. Inside this div, the icon will be stored, okay, that will be stored afterwards through JavaScript. There will be an h3 tag with id desc. Inside this desc, there will be the description. For example, if the weather is windy or it is cloudy, it will appear here, okay. Save. As you can see, windy appears here. After that, there will be another div below the type div, inside the upper div, and the name will be sub. The class will be sub, and inside the sub there will be the temperature and the feels like, okay. So id temperature will store the temperature, and id feels like will store the temperature which it feels like actually, as you can see. So let me show you the original once again. So this portion lies in the upper class, this portion lies in the lower class, okay. And this Kolkata is the middle h2 tag, and inside the upper class, this thing is the icon, and this is the description. Here is the description, and this is the temperature temp class, and feels like 37 degrees centigrade is the feels like id, okay. After that, as you can see, the humidity and wind speed are two columns inside the lower div, okay. So I will now create two columns inside the lower div. So as you can see, we have the lower class lower here, and inside this div I will create the column, two columns with the class name column col, and then another class col, okay. Two divisions inside the lower div. And inside the first call, I will give this font awesome icon for the droplet sign, okay. This is the droplet icon from the font awesome icon. You can just go to the font awesome icon and you can just search droplet, okay. So this is a droplet icon you can get from the font awesome icon. And then after that, I will give the wind speed icon from the font awesome icon again. And don't forget to add the CDN link of font awesome icon inside the head tag, otherwise it will not appear in the output screen. After that, below the font awesome icon, below the humidity icon, I will have to give this humidity id with the 50% by default, and the h4 tag which shows the humidity caption, okay. Similarly, in the second column, which carries the wind speed, I will give two h4 tags, one carrying the id speed which gives 15 km/h by default, and then the h4 tag with the caption wind speed, okay. Fine. Now let's style this HTML snippet so that it appears in the center. At first, as you can see in the head, inside the head tags, I have already added the link rel is equal to style sheet href style.css. So you have to add exactly the same code, and the style.css file should be added inside the href attribute, okay. After that, I am going to the style.css section, and I am adding margin 0, padding 0, and box sizing border box for all the contents. After that, I will be adding in the body display flex background color. I want it to be black. Fine. There is a class called content inside the wrapper class, if you remember. So in this content class, I will give the color to be white. Background should be linear gradient, okay. So this should be the background. After that, border radius I want to be 25 pixels from all the sides. As you can see, the sides are rounded, the edges. Then I want the padding to be 40 px from top and bottom, and 35 px from left and right. Okay, as you can see, it reflected on the output screen. And then I want the text to align in the center. As you can see, text aligned in the center. Now I want this box to be at the center of the screen. Okay, for that I have a class wrapper outside this content class, if you remember. So I will use that wrapper class dot wrapper, and I will give margin 100 pixel auto 0, and it will come in the center, as you can see. Now it's time to design the search button inside whose class is search bar. Okay, so the search bar I will give dot search bar, and display I want it to be flex. Then justify content center, align items center. And again, inside the search bar there is an input field to dot search bar input. I want the padding to be 10 pixel from top and bottom and 25 pixel from left and right. As you can see, it reflected on the output screen. Then I want the border radius of the input field to be, okay, border radius of the input field to be 27 pixel, and then the font size I want 18 pixel, and height to be 60 pixel. Okay, so let's save it and see how it appears. So the input bar appears somewhat like this. And now I want to add the background color to be this particular color. As you can see, the color changed in the background of the input field. And then the border I want to be 0. As you can see, there is a black border which is coming, it doesn't look good, so border 0 and it will disappear. And then margin right 15 pixel. Okay, fine. So there is some space between the search icon and the search bar. Now it's time to design the search icon. Okay, for that dot search bar, then the button I will take button tag, and width I will give 50 pixel, and height also 50 pixel, and color should be hash FFF for white. Then background color I want RGBA 118, 194, 194, 0.5. Okay, let's save it, and as you can see, the search icon appears like this. This is the search button. Then I want the search button to be rounded. Okay, so the border radius I will give, border radius should be 50% to make it rounded, as you can see. Then I want a hand or pointer cursor to appear here, so cursor pointer, as you can see, now the pointer is coming. Then font size I want 20 pixels so that the search icon appears a bit larger, not so small. as you can see, and the thing left is the border, black border is coming, so I want the border to be 0, border to be 0. Okay, now the search button is completed. Now it's time to design the division with the class name upper. As you can see, this is the division with the class name upper. Inside that we have the type, inside type we have icon and description, but I have not given any icon for now, but I have to give an icon to design it. For that I will go to my browser and I will go to the font awesome icon page, and then I will search for some cloud icon. Okay, and then I will pick up some random cloud icon and I will just copy this font and I will paste it inside this division with ID icon, so that this icon appears in the output screen. Okay, as you can see, the cloud appears. It is a small icon which is appearing below the search bar. Now let's style it to make it somewhat like this. Okay, so I'm going to the style.css file, and then dot upper, I am using the upper class, and then inside that I will give the display as flex, align item center. As you can see, the type, this is under the class type and this is under the class sub. These are aligned in the center, and also, sorry, justify content space between, space is inserted between these two subdivisions. Okay, after that, margin I want to give 8% from all sides, and margin bottom should be 35 pixel. Okay, so 35 pixel margin from bottom and 8% margin from all sides. After that I will use the class type and I will give the margin top as 40 pixel. As you can see, this is the class type, this falls under the class type, and the margin on the top increased. After that, margin right I want to be 30 pixel, margin from the right as 30 pixel. Then I want icon, this is the icon, so the icon size, font size I want 60 pixel so that it increases a bit, and then margin bottom should be 20 pixel. As you can see, a margin was inserted, and then I want this subheading h1. As you can remember, there is this division with class name sub, and inside this there is this h1 tag which shows the temperature. So sub h1, margin top is 35 pixel, and then font size is 55 pixel. Now I will design the lower class. Inside that I will set the display to flex, align item center, justify content space between, so that there is some space between these two columns. One column is for humidity and another is for wind speed. After that I will keep the padding 0 from top and bottom and 20 pixels padding from right and left. As you can see, then I am keeping the margin top 40 pixel. After that, there are two divisions. As you can see, these two columns have the class name call. So using this is the ID name call, not class name. So using the ID call, I am setting the display flex, align item center, and then text align left. After that, I am setting the media screen max with 400 pixel. So as you can see, it appears like this. Now to just make it responsive, I will set the media screen max width 400 pixel, and inside that I will set the content width to be 100%, max width is 350 pixel. Then the wrapper, I will set the margin to be 60 pixel auto 0, and search bar input width should be 90% when the screen is too small, that is the max width is 400 pixel or less than that. A little bit of modification to make it responsive. Now as you can see, as I squish it, it is looking good. Okay, it is looking good in all devices. iPhone XR, iPad Air, in every device, iPhone SE, it is looking good and responsive. Now our structure and design is finished, so it's time to add some JavaScript to dynamically change the weather using an API named Open Weather Map API. So let's see what is it. This is the default page of Open Weather Map API. As you can see, this is the openweathermap.org dashboard, and here you have to create your account. After creating your account, you will get the API keys from here. Okay, my API key, here will be a default API key. You have to copy this API key and use it later, but for now you go to API and then scroll down, and I will use this current weather data API for now because I want the current data and not the hourly forecast for 4 days or daily 16 days. I don't want this one, I just want the current weather data. So I am clicking on API doc, and then as you can see here it is showing how to make a API call. So using this URL you can make an API call. As you can see here, we have to give the latitude lat and longitude long, and also the API key. As you scroll down below, you can see this is the JSON format of the response. Here are the coordinates, latitude and longitude, weather, then the main, then it shows the temperature, feels like temperature, minimum, maximum temperature, pressure, humidity, sea level, etc., etc., and also the wind speed, then rain, then clouds and all. As you scroll down below, here are the API response fields. Here it will show what variable or what fields denote what. Then as you scroll down below, there is the XML format, then again. So these are the different things. So now here comes the API call using city name. So we will make use of this one using city name. So I will just copy this URL and I will paste it in a new tab, and in place of this API key I will place my API key, which is this one. Okay, so you have to first create an account in this website. Okay, just create an account, fill the form whatever it wants you to fill it, and then just verify it through your email and all. Then you come to your account, click on my API keys, and then copy the API key from here. I am copying the API key from here, and in place of this API key I am replacing my API key, and in place of this city name I am just giving a random city name, for example Kolkata, and then I am clicking on enter. As you can see, this is the response. The longitude and latitudes are given, weather, main is clouds, description is scattered clouds, and as you can see the temperature is given in Kelvin, 301.12 Kelvin, and it feels like 307.51 Kelvin, and you can change it to normal Celsius by subtracting 273 from it. And then there are other information given about the humidity, pressure, speed, clouds, and so on. And name Kolkata is also given. Instead of this city name, you can also search any state name, for example Pune, and not Pune, for example Punjab. Punjab is a state name, and I am clicking on enter, and as you can see, instead of this city you can also search by state name. Okay, so here in the API doc it is given that only using city name you can search, but using state name also you can search. So I will make use of this URL. So now I will copy this URL and then go to my VS Code, and now I will start writing the script file. Okay, so below the div last division and above the ending body tag I will start my script tag. So as you can see, inside the script tag I am creating a variable URL. Inside the variable URL I am storing this URL, and instead of this city name I am deleting the name and I'm just keeping it city, and then I am giving the $sign before it. Okay, and then in place of the API key I am giving the original API key which I have. I copied the API key from here, as you can see, and then I have pasted it here. Okay, after that I am creating a variable input, and inside this input I am storing that input tag, that is the input tag. As you can see, I am just showing you 1 minute. This is the input field, so I am just storing this input field in this variable input, so that whenever I enter something here I can get the value of it using input.value. okay, after that I am creating another variable search. Inside that I will store the search button. So document.get element by id search, so this button has the id search, so using this id I am storing it in the variable search. After that I am storing the temperature, that is the temperature. This temperature has id temp. If you remember, this temperature has id temp, and it is inside the h1 tag. So document.get element by id temp. So I got the input field, then I got the search, and then I got the temp. Now I will create a asynchronous function, async function, and the function name will be get weather, and inside that I will pass the parameter city, that is whatever city I will enter inside the input field, I will send it here, okay, as the parameter. And then inside this function what I will do, I will paste this URL which I had previously written below it. I will paste it and I will paste it inside it. Okay, after that I will create a variable data. Inside that I will store the response using await fetch. If you don't know what, then you have to study a bit and then come here. Okay, now using await fetch I will store the response in the form of JSON. So what I did is response tends to response.json, so it will store the JSON format of response inside this variable data. And now whatever response I will get, I will output it in the console. Okay, so console.log data. Now I have to call this function. So when I will call this function, when I click on this search button, so search.add event listener, search.add event listener, inside that click is the event which if occurs then only this function will be called. When I click on this search button, this function will be called. So search.add event listener click, and then this arrow function we will call the get weather, and I will pass the input.value. So whatever value I will enter in the input field, I will pass it here. So input.value, and I am saving it. Now let's see, I am inspecting it because I console.logged it in the console. So yeah, so if I enter the city name Kolkata and then I click on search button, you can see the output is shown in the console. The temperature and all. Inside the main there is the temperature and feels like temperature, and then there is the weather array, it is haze currently here, and so on. So if you see here carefully, inside the main tag there is a variable temperature. Now I have to show this temperature here, so let's do it. I am going to my VS Code. Now to reflect the temperature here, I will use the temp variable where I stored the temperature field. So temp dot inner text equals to data. Data has this JSON response data dot main. If you remember, within the main we have temp field which contains the temperature, but it was in Kelvin. To convert it into Celsius we have to subtract 273.15. okay, so let's see what appears here. So as I type Kolkata and click on search button, the temperature is 27.97000. So it is a decimal value, but I don't want a decimal value, so I will round it using math dot round and enclose it within the bracket. And now let's see, if I type Kolkata and click on search button, it is showing 28, but degree Celsius is not shown, so I will also add this degree Celsius thing. So I will copy that degree Celsius from the HTML part and I will just paste it here and then save. As you can see, I am typing Kolkata and then clicking on the search button to see 28 degrees Celsius. Similarly, I will update this windy description and the icon and also the feels like and humidity and wind speed. Now let's change the description. So for the description, I will give the variable const desc and inside that I will store the desc id using document.getElementById. by id. Similarly for feels like, because this field feels like has the id feels like, so I am storing this in the variable feels like. Similarly, the humidity I am storing inside the variable humidity and wind speed inside the variable wind speed, so as to access it later to change it. Then the image icon also, because this image has the id icon, if you remember, it has the id icon. Inside the icon there is this cloud image which we will change later using switch case, not now. So I have stored all this fields id inside variables. After that I will change the value using inner text. So dsc dot inner text. So inside the dsc id I will change the inner text. So dsc dot inner text is equal to data dot weather 0 dot description. If you remember, here weather is a field, inside that the first tag is the description. So data dot weather 0 dot description, and after that I will give the feels like dot inner text is equal to feels like plus math dot round data dot main dot feels like minus 273 to convert it into Kelvin, to convert it into Celsius, and plus the degree centigrade. If you remember, the response has a feels like field inside the main. Okay, inside the main the response has a feels like field. After that, humidity dot inner text is equal to data dot main dot humidity plus this percentage sign. We have this humidity inside the main, and I can show you in another way also. Inspect, and in the console if I type suppose Kolkata and then I click on the search button, as you can see this JSON, which is this response which we got here, inside the main we have this feels like variable, this humidity, this temperature and all. So from there I have accessed the values. Now let's save it to see whether it got reflected or not. Now I am searching a city, suppose what can I say, suppose Pune. Okay, then I am clicking on the search button. As you can see, the description became overcast clouds. Now to change this icon I have to use switch case. If you remember, I stored this icon inside this image. Const image is equal to document.getElementById icon, and inside this icon we already had this cloud image. Okay, so for now I will delete this cloud image because I don't need this cloud image anymore, because I will dynamically give the image through JavaScript. Now let's add the icon. So switch data dot weather 0 dot main. So if you remember that inside the data there is a field weather, and inside that the first array at array index 0 we have main. Inside this main there is clouds written, so the description is written inside main. So inside the weather array the first index contains this main which contains the description. So if the description, that is the case, is clouds, then it will show the image as fast solid far cloud. So this fast solid far cloud I got from font awesome icon. Let me show you once. If I go to font awesome icon, I will get different images whatever I will search for. For example, this is the cloud image and it shows that the class is fast solid far cloud. Like that I will use different icons. You can search it individually or you can just copy paste it from the code in the description given. After that, so what I did is that image was the variable inside which I stored this image division, and the class name I am changing it to fast solid far cloud. So I am changing the class name of this image. Let me show you. So this division has no class name, but if I give the class name of that particular icon, of font awesome icon, in this division, then the icon will appear here. Okay, so the next case is case clear. If the main description is clear, then image dot class name will be fast solid fast sun. Similarly, for case rain also I have given a particular icon, and for case mist also I have given this icon, and for case snow I have again given an icon, and for drizzle, and the last one is haze. Okay, after each case I have given this break, otherwise all the cases will show haze, which is at the last. Fall through will happen. Okay, so don't forget to give the break after each case, and I am saving it. So I have forgot to close the brackets. Yeah, now I am saving it again. Now let me search a city name, suppose Kolkata, and I am clicking on search. As you can see, the icon appeared here. Again I am searching Mexico, and let me click on this button. As you can see, overcast clouds has this icon. Now what if I type some wrong state name or city name? Okay, then if I click on this search button, nothing will appear on this screen, but if I inspect it and I see in the console, then you can see that in the console error appears. Okay, uncaught type error it shows, because this JB is invalid. Okay, no city or state name exists in this name. So for that I have to create an error message. For that I am coming to my index.html file, and then I am creating a new div name error, div class error, and then I am closing this div, and then inside this div I am giving this h3 tag. Inside the h3 tag it will show city or state does not exist, and then image src will be error.png, width will be 300 pixel, height will be 300 pixel. From where I am getting this error.png? I have already imported my error.png file. Okay, if you have not imported any image, then you can download any image from the web browser and just save it in this file, in this folder. As you can see, I have this error.png file inside this weather folder in which my project is there. So yeah, image src is error.png and width is 300 pixel and height is also 300 pixel. As you can see, the image somewhat appears like this. Now I have to style this image. For that, what I will do is I will use this class name error, because this division has the class name error. So using this class name error I will style it error, and here the display is flex, because I want to display it here, and then align item center, it will be aligned in the center. Justify content center, flex direction column, and margin top will be 10 pixel. Okay, 10 pixel margin from the top. Now by default I don't want this picture to show. When it will show the temperature, I don't want this error message to show. So by default I will do the display as none. Okay, display none. So by default this error message will not show. It will only show when some wrong city or state name is typed. Now if data.cod is equal to 404, so what is COD? If you go to this site and you inspect, so as you can see here COD 404 is shown. So similarly I am using this to check if the city or state name is correct or not. So if data.cod is 404, then console.log error, at first I will log in the console some error message, and then weatherbody.style.display equals to none. Weatherbody is the class of the division which wraps the whole weather content. Okay, this is the weather body, this is the weather body. It contains all this four things, okay, the upper part and the lower part, and including the Kolkata, the city name also. Okay, so weather body is the main thing which displays the temperature details. So if there is some error message, then this temperature details will not show. So weatherbody.style.display equals to none. Then error.style.display equals to flex. What is error? Error is the class name for this division which will show the error, which contains the error image and also the error message that city or state does not exist. So error.style.display equals to flex, and then I will return. That means all these things after the if condition will not be executed, it will directly return, and this part will not be executed. Okay, no temperature details will be shown. But what if there is no error? If there is no error, then outside this if condition, error.style.display will be none. That is, if there is no error, the style of this error will be none. So display none for this error, and for weather body the display will be block. Okay, and then I have to store the error division, means the error class, in some variable inside the script tag. So const error is equal to document.querySelector.error. I am storing this class inside this variable error, and then for the weather body I am storing it inside the variable weather body. And let's save it and check it. Now I am typing Kolkata and clicking on search. So it is showing the description and all, the temperature, and suppose the spelling is something wrong and I am clicking on search, and it is showing the 404 error picture along with the message city or state does not exist. Okay, so one last thing which is left is I don't want this temperature details by default. I just want a single bar like this. Let me show you. I want simply the search bar like this by default. So for that I have to give display none for this weather body. So I am going to the style.css file, and then I am coming below the error, and then I am pasting this code, that is .weather body display none. Why display none? By default the display will be none, so by default no temperature detail will be shown when I have not entered any city or state name. So by default it is showing like this. Now one thing, if you have noticed, whenever I type any city or state name, it shows the relevant information, but it doesn't change the name of the city or state. It always shows Kolkata. So I also have to update this place name. Okay, for that I will type const place. I will take a variable name place is equal to document dot get element by id. Kolkata is inside h2 tag which has the id city. Okay, so id should be city. So document dot get element by id city. Like this we can get the h2 tag in which the city name will be there, and then I have to change it dynamically using JavaScript. So place, which was the variable name in which I stored the division, in which the class name in which the city will be stored. So place dot inner text, I will change the inner text of the place into data dot name. So name attribute in data will contain the name of the place, that is city or state. So I am saving it, Ctrl S, and now I am refreshing the page, and if I enter city Mexico and I click on search, now it shows Mexico. If I type Italy and click on search, it shows Italy, and if I type Kolkata and click on search, it shows Kolkata. So this issue is also solved. So it's done. If you like this video, subscribe to my channel, like and share it with your friends and family. Thanks for watching my video, guys. Have a nice day.